I know we have a lot of things to improve on as a nation, but please do not give up on our nation. May pag-asa pa yung bayan natin eh. Please, even if whatever we see, ano ba yan? Ba't ganon? Bakit grabe yung malversion of funds? We should believe that there is still hope. As we commemorate itong Filipino is Worth Dying For or this holiday, I hope that it's not something that it's just a memory, but it's something that would spur us into action. Naggawa ng aksyon na hindi okay, naalala natin, but should allow us to do our part so that we can allow our nation to move forward. Because I truly believe heroism, patriotism, nationalism isn't just for one person alone, but it is for every Filipino. Heroism is not just for one person or for Ninoy Aquino, but it is for each and every one of us. Lahat tayo. In whatever we do, we need to make it a habit to be great in what we do, to be the very best. Whatever platform that we have, even if we are not in government service, even if we don't have a platform, even if we don't have an audience, let us do our very best in whatever way, in whatever arena. Because if we better oneself, by extension, we better one's country. Because if we make ourselves better, if we do our very best, by extension, yung nation rin yung na-uplift eh. How do we love our nation? In whatever time, talent, treasure that we have, let's not just use it just for our families, for our own gain, but it should also contribute to our society, contribute to the better development of our nation. Especially in this time of this global pandemic, it's just really tough because people are dying. Filipino people are dying and we don't want that. Kawawa yung mga pamilya na affect because of COVID, especially if you lost a loved one, and we don't want that. We don't want senseless yung reasons bakit sila namatay. We don't want that. That's why we are even grateful at this time. The frontliners who are holding the ropes in this health crisis. Maraming salamat if you are a frontliner. Thank you so much for risking your life. Alam ko, pagod na kayo. Especially if you are in the health industry, the health systems, ang daming mga tao na i-infect pa kayo. Thank you so much for just holding the ropes for our nation. For sacrificing your lives or even your families. Kasi pag uwi nyo, pwede nyo ma-infect yung pamilya nyo eh. So, that's an example of not just thinking of their own, but for our nation. So, even if delayed ang hazard pay or hindi nyo pa nakukuha yung hazard pay and you're still doing what you are doing, maraming salamat to all the frontliners, and hindi lang health frontliners. We should be grateful sa lahat mga nagde-deliver, yung sa Grab, sa Lala Food, di ba? We should be grateful. The very reason dumarating yung mga add to cart natin sa Shopee at Lazada, it's because of them. So, di ba, they are running the risk of being exposed. But they're doing it, of course, they want to earn, but also, ito yung way para magkaroon ng movement of goods and services. So thank you for that. Thank you for the security guards. Thank you for the people who are working in the essential industry. Yung sa grocery, sa pharmacies. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Hello, welcome to Rooftop Reflections, and we will talk about, is the Filipino still worth dying for? My name is Germo, and I do videos so that it could inspire confidence and instill hope. That is my heart in whatever way I can. Kahit hindi tayo magkakasama, is to help you, to impart to you whatever I learned, whatever I've got before, para ma-share ko sa inyo. Because I truly believe for us to gain confidence, it starts also in competence. That's why we talk about these things, so that we can learn, not just you learning from me, but we can learn together, and I want to learn from you as well. So that is the heart of these videos, is to inspire confidence and instill hope that no matter what's going on in our lives, in our world, there is always hope. So please continue to tag your friends, share this stream, and even like this video and subscribe in this YouTube channel as I edit this and put it on my YouTube channel. So we will talk about, like what I've mentioned, is the Filipino still worth dying for? That's the question. And we are asking that question because it's in commemoration to our national hero, si Ninoy Aquino. Naabutan nyo pa ba siya? Or you've just heard it? Ako personally, I wasn't here yet. Hindi pa ako pinanganak during the time, but somehow I still know what had happened before. Thank you to my parents and my teachers who educated me, gave me a dose of history before. Maraming salamat. Si Ninoy Aquino, we've been talking about it. Yung pinaka-iconic words na sinabi niya is, the Filipino is worth dying for. And as we talk about these things, of course, it's good to step back of who is Ninoy Aquino. Sino ba si Ninoy Aquino? So, there's so much to talk about him, but what I remember is he is the youngest elected senator ever in the Philippines. Also, during the 1970s, kasi he's a brilliant politician. A lot of things that he did. In the 1970s, during the time where President Marcos was still president, and there was no martial law yet, he was the #1 highly likely to be the next president in the 1970s. The #1 highly likely to be the next president. And then, nung 1972, that's when the then President Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law, the writ of habeas corpus. Tama ba? I hope I remember it correctly. In terms of that martial law, naabutan nyo pa ba yun? Kasi alam ko, panahon nun ng tatay ko, ng nanay ko, but we still hear those stories, and it's good. That's why we talk about these things, is to learn from history. So, that's what happened. Nung 1972, there was martial law, dineclare ni Ferdinand Marcos, and tama AM, si tatay ni Kris, etong si Ninoy Aquino. So kung hindi nyo kilala si Ninoy Aquino at may disconnect, siya yung tatay ni Kris. Okay. Hindi ko lang magaya kung paano siya magsalita. Basta tatay raw siya ni Kris. So, nung nag-declare si Ferdinand Marcos na martial law, etong si Ninoy Aquino, who was a senator, the #1 likely to be the next president, siya ang naging prisoner #1. Kasi yun nga, he is opposing, he is calling out the things na ginagawa ng Marcos administration. So siya yung naging prisoner #1, and of course along with other people as well. So after how many years siya naging prisoner, in 1980 nagkaroon siya ng heart attack. And what's needed is for him to go to the States to have an open heart surgery. So, good thing, pinayagan naman siya. But when he was in the States, particularly in Newton, in Boston, Massachusetts, he was already in exile there with his family. Some historians say that he was living a happy life with his family. But, deep down inside, there's still that sense that there's something going on in my country. He was disturbed with the things going on in our nation. So, that's what's happening. So, in 1980, nasabi niya nga, eto, the Filipino is worth dying for. So, that was a long speech. Hindi naman niya sinabi yung statement na lang na yun. Parang Twitter lang, no? Nag-tweet siya. No. It was part of a speech. And then yun yung excerpt. Nung 1983, nabalitaan niya talaga, and I think it was a tipping point for him na what's happening in our nation, hindi na niya kaya. What happened, he decided to go back to our nation, even if he is fully aware of the threats, even if he is fully aware that it can cost him his life. May nagbigay pa nga ng warnings na hindi siya pupunta because people want his head. But because he wanted change, or for whatever his reason, because yun nga he believes in our nation, the freedom of our nation. So, 1983, yung nag-fly na siya via LA, tas nag-Hong Kong, nag-Malaysia, tas yung nasa Manila na siya, MIA, Manila International Airport, that was the old name of NAIA, which was named after him. Nasa MIA na siya, at the tarmac, nung pababa ng airplane, biglang, boom! Gunfire. Gunshot was heard. And then, he was dead on the spot. He was dead on the spot. And then after that, that triggered people power. And that people power led to the toppling down of the martial law era in our nation. And the rest is history. Have heard of that as well, maybe from your teachers, from your parents. So that led to it. So because of what Ninoy Aquino did, what he said, it came true. That the Filipino is worth dying for. It happened. And I truly believe that is still a reality even until now. Even until now. Even years has passed. Even if we feel like, ano ba nangyari sa bayan natin? Bakit ganito yung nation natin? Why are the leaders doing what they are doing? Bakit ganito? Bakit ganyan? But I truly believe, even until now, the Filipino is still worth dying for. I truly believe. That's our rooftop reflections. Is the Filipino worth dying for? Yes, it is. It is truly worth dying for. And maybe to some of you, sige Neil, ikaw bahala ka dyan. Mamatay ka dyan. Oops, pero as we talk about these things, I'll let you journey with me as we talk about these things and to show you a different perspective on it. When we talk about just dying for the Filipino people, it's not necessarily that you will literally die, but in a sense, it's living lives beyond ourselves, beyond our families, but doing things that would really contribute to our nation, helping our nation in whatever way we can, to really want the best for our nation to progress, to support the local leaders, but calling out if there are wrongs, calling out if there are injustices. That's really wanting for our nation to progress. Willing to do whatever it takes, even at the cost of convenience and comfort. Kasi when we say dying to our nation, yes, there will be times na baka umabot dun sa may death, pero not necessarily someone needs to die because now you can already die even social media, di ba? Pero yung point ko is just wanting, willing to use your lives, not just for your family, but to allow our nation to move forward and to progress. To support our government, definitely, but if there are wrongs, injustices, please call it out. But what's important, as we call it out, again, regardless of your political color, we should support our government kasi sila yung nandyan eh. Sila yung nagay ni Lord. So we might not agree with them, but we need to support them, but call out the wrong. And when we do it, I hope we still do it in a God-honoring way. Kasi, I mean, we are entitled to our own opinions. We have conflicts. And speaking of conflicts, if you want to have healthy conflicts, to keep healthy conflicts, just click the link in the description. We have a video about that. So that you can learn more on those things. But speaking of those things, I hope that when we talk about our differences of opinion, maging God-honoring pa rin, respectful pa rin tayo kasi kanya-kanyang opinion, kasi yung gusto lang naman natin is to move forward. Tulong-tulong. We are willing to serve and sacrifice for our nation. Even if may issues, even if we're tempted, sige, mag-New Zealand na lang ako. Galing kasi ni Jacinda eh. Tara na, punta na tayo doon at maraming chaos. Hindi. Please, I know we have a lot of things to improve on as a nation, but please do not give up on our nation. May pag-asa pa yung bayan natin eh. Please, even if whatever we see, ano ba yan? Ba't ganon? Bakit grabe yung malversion of funds? We should believe that there is still hope. And this is not about toxic positivity because naniniwala ko na may pag-asa. And speaking of toxic positivity, that's a video maybe next week or in the other weeks. But it should be grounded in reality. Bakit may pag-asa? And I'm really excited with the young breed of politicians or young blood going to politics. Like si Vico Soto, just really showing that may pag-asa talaga ang bayan. So again, regardless of our political color, you're entitled to that, to your opinion. But I hope when we do these things, as we battle it out with people to help one another, to make our country move forward, sana God honoring pa rin yung ginagawa natin. And as we commemorate itong Filipino is worth dying for or this holiday, I hope that it's not something that it's just a memory, but it's something that would spur us into action. Naggawa ng action na hindi okay naalala natin, but should allow us to do our part so that we can allow our nation to move forward. Because I truly believe heroism patriotism, nationalism isn't just for one person alone, but it is for every Filipino. Heroism is not just for one person or for Ninoy Aquino, but it is for each and every one of us. Lahat tayo. Wherever you are now, whether you are a Filipino here in the Philippines, Filipino abroad, whether you're a full-breed Filipino or a half Filipino, meaning maybe your dad is a Filipino, your mom is a different nationality, you're still Filipino, or kung anong percentage na Filipino ka, this video is still for you. Or if you are a foreigner but you fell in love with our place, this is also for you. Because what I want us to understand, that being a hero is not just for one person, but it is for everyone. And we have a part to play. Not necessarily someone has to die, but what we need to do is, are we willing to go beyond our comfort and convenience just to allow our nation to move forward and to progress? So the question is now, how to be a hero as a Filipino? Kasi di ba, I've mentioned that being a hero is not just limited to one person, but it is for each and every one of us. So here are practical ways on how to be a hero as a Filipino. So as usual, we have an acrostic for us. So it is the word hero. And here are practical ways on how to be a hero as a Filipino. So the first one is H, which is habituate greatness. Habituate greatness. So in whatever we do, we need to make it a habit to be great in what we do, to be the very best. Whatever platform that we have, even if we are not in government service, even if we don't have a platform, even if we don't have an audience, let us do our very best in whatever way, in whatever arena. Because if we better oneself, by extension, we better one's country. Because if we make ourselves better, if we do our very best, by extension, yung nation rin yung na-uplift eh. Kaya nga, we are so proud every time when there are Filipinos who are doing well, whether in the sports industry or maybe someone won a song competition, di ba? Yay! Ang galing! Mabuhay ang Pilipinas! Mabuhay ang Pilipino kahit 5% lang yung dugo niyang Pinay. So what? Pero still, we are celebrating kasi Pinoy pa rin sila. So, we need to be the very best in whatever way we can. Whatever you do, kahit anong platform, be the very best. Because by extension, it's uplifting also the nation that we have. Again guys, continue to tag your friends, like this video, and also subscribe to this YouTube channel. Maraming salamat sa pagsuporta. So that is letter H. The next letter in the acrostic hero is letter E, is enrich our nation. Enrich our nation. In short, to love our nation. When we talk about enrich, it's basically improve or enhance the quality, the value of our nation. Just loving the nation as much as we can. How do we do that? How do we love our nation? In whatever time, talent, treasure that we have. Let's not just use it just for our families, for our own gain, but it should also contribute to our society, contribute to the better development of our nation. Especially in this time of this global pandemic, it's just really tough because people are dying. Filipino people are dying, and we don't want that. Kawawa yung mga pamilya na affect because of COVID, especially if you lost a loved one, and we don't want that. We don't want senseless yung reasons bakit sila namatay. We don't want that. That's why we are even grateful at this time. The frontliners who are holding the ropes in this health crisis. Maraming salamat if you are a frontliner. Thank you so much for risking your life. Alam ko pagod na kayo. Especially if you are in the health industry, the health systems, ang daming mga tao na i-infect pa kayo. Thank you so much for just holding the ropes for our nation, for sacrificing your lives or even your families. Kasi pag uwi nyo, pwede nyo ma-infect yung pamilya nyo eh. So that's an example of not just thinking of their own, but for our nation. So even if delayed ang hazard pay or hindi nyo pa nakukuha yung hazard pay and you're still doing what you are doing, maraming salamat to all the frontliners, and hindi lang health frontliners. We should be grateful sa lahat mga nagde-deliver. Yung sa Grab, sa Lala Food, di ba? We should be grateful. The very reason dumarating yung mga add to cart natin sa Shopee at Lazada, it's because of them. So, di ba, they are running the risk of being exposed But they're doing it, of course, they want to earn, but also, ito yung way para magkaroon ng movement of goods and services. So thank you for that. Thank you for the security guards. Thank you for the people who are working in the essential industry. Yung sa grocery, sa pharmacy. Maraming salamat sa inyo. So tag your friends, honor them. Kasi itong mga frontliners, they are risking their lives. So, if our frontliners, they're doing their part, let's also do our part in staying at home. Just go out when necessary. Wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask. And especially at this time, face shield na. So, not necessarily hengde ang susuotin nyo. Basta makatakip kayo. Hindi necessarily hengde. Although, may discount sa Shopee, 9 pesos for a time flash sale. So, that's an example of enriching our nation, not just about thinking of ourselves, of our own, but really of the betterment of our country as well. So that's enrich our nation. Part of loving our nation, enriching our nation, like what I've said, is to support our government, but at the same time to call out the wrong. I hope let's support our leaders. Sila yung nilagay ni Lord eh. Regardless of our political affiliation, let's pray for the people kung sino nandyan. Hindi kasi madali rin ginagawa nila. I'm sure may mga things na kailangan sila improve. Maybe major improve, as in major, big time improvement. Pero as of the meantime, nandyan sila eh. So let's pray for them. Support them. But call out the wrong. Kung may mali, let's use our legit sources or legit ways to call it out. Kasi sometimes keyboard warriors lang tayo. It's bashing and all. Kung may kailangan tayo, let's give suggestions, let's give solutions. Daan natin sa proper channel. Sometimes we lose friends because of our differences of opinion. Let's support, but call out the wrong. We're not saying that when we call out the wrong, it is anti-government. Not at all. We just want good governance. We are making them accountable for what they are doing. Because what we are doing is not just only for us, but the reason why we are doing all these things, because gusto natin yung next generation would be better than ours. So that hindi na nila ma-experience yung experience natin. We just heard that we have a 9 trillion debt. Ang laki nun. But what will we do? Nasa inyo yan. Pero my hope and my prayer is, let's move forward as a Filipino people, regardless of political affiliation. Isa lang naman yung goal natin eh. Mapaganda ang bayan natin. There's so much potential in our nation. Ang gagaling ng mga Pinoy. Bakit ganito yung nangyayari? Let's support our nation. Let's support our leaders, but call out the wrong. Let's hold them accountable. So that's enrich our nation. And what are the ways where we can enrich our nation? Comment below. Suggest so that we can learn together. And letter R is remember our roots. Remember our roots. That we are a Filipino. That wherever we are, kasi the reason why I'm saying that, kasi global dapat tayo, global yung perspective eh. Eh, ang daming mga Pinoy, I have a lot of friends na nasa ibang parts of the globe, but they are really proud Pinoy. And how can we remember our roots? So wherever we are, let's have the heart, the willingness to serve our nation, to serve our countrymen. I know someone, si Brian, my friend in Singapore, kahit nasa Singapore siya, he is doing ways on how to help the plight of our students who can't buy internet or laptop because of online learning. So that's one of the examples. Hello Brian, sana napapanood mo to. I honor you for what you are doing. And marami pa akong friends, marami pa tayong Filipinos, marami mga projects na nagawa, Project Ayuda and a lot of stuff. So we should have that heart. Remember our roots. Remember yung values natin na as Filipinos. Remember na tulong-tulong tayo. Na ang ganda nga ng values natin as Filipino, family talaga eh. Supporting the family. And I would also like to honor the breadwinners now, especially at this time sa pandemic. Kayo yung kumikita, nanay, tatay, niece, breadwinner. Ang hirap kumita na ngayon eh. But you are running the risk of exposure kasi kailangan mo kumita ng pera. Yan yung value natin. Just loving our family, holding it tight. Kahit may risk, kahit may challenge, pupunta ng abroad just to earn, just to provide. Of course, kailangan buo pa rin yung pamilya. But yung point ko, thank you for those who are just risking their lives just to provide for their families. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Maybe to some, you're privileged na hindi nyo kailangan lumabas, work from home, and you should be grateful for that. To some, they need to go out just to earn. Please, maraming salamat. But also, please take care. But also be reminded that when you do those things, if feeling mo nahirapan ka na sa provision, always remember that God is our ultimate source, that He will provide for you no matter what. That whatever makita natin na challenges, remember that God is there for us, that He will provide no matter what. Because our currency, our economy is not based on what we have, but ultimately it's because God is with us. So dumidilim na, I hope nakita nyo pa ako. So kailangan na natin tapusin to. Also, remembering our roots is also when we disciple the next generation, when we instill this, I hope the next generation would also love. They would also love yung nation natin. That they would look forward in helping and serving our nation. We go to our last letter, letter O, is to operate in unity. Kasi kailangan natin to be united as this time. How can we be united? A lot of ways. For us to support each other. Especially sa mga business ngayon, let's support one another. Support local. Tulungan nyo na. Kahit na mas mahal ng 10 piso or 50 pesos, tulungan nyo. Kung kaya sa budget nyo, let's support one another. Let's have compassion. Like, kung kaya, let's help more, serve more, maging united tayo, even if we have differences of opinion, even if, oras na, dumidilim na, kaya pala 6:30 na. So, let's support one another. Let's be compassionate, respect one's opinion. And also, ito yung gusto ko rin sana matanggal sa culture natin, yung crab mentality. Please, tanggalin natin yung crab mentality. Kung merong success yung ibang kababayan natin, let's be happy for them. Let's celebrate their successes. Maging happy tayo sa kanila. Let's operate in unity so that we can move forward. So as we wrap this up, so we talked about, is the Filipino still worth dying for? And of course, the answer, ano sagot nyo? Is of course, it's a resounding yes. It's a resounding yes. Even if talaga ba, Neil, parang ang hirap naman, parang bad ganito ang nation, we need to always understand na may pag-asa ang ating bayan. That the future is bright. That kasama natin si Lord moving this. May pag-asa ang bayan natin. Let's not lose hope. Let's not lose hope. We need to always have hope no matter what's happening, no matter how bleak, no matter the challenges, may pag-asa ang ating bayan. And when we say Filipinos worth dying for, not necessarily someone has to die. Not necessarily. That's why we talked about how to be a hero as a Filipino. We have an acrostic, diba? The first one is to habituate greatness, just being great in whatever we do, regardless of our platform. And then E is to enrich our nation. In short, loving our nation. And then R is to remember our roots wherever we are. Let's not forget kung sino tayo, yung values natin. Now, we should instill yung greatness and love for our nation. And letter O, operate in unity. Operate in unity. And we ask the question, is still the Filipino worth dying for? Definitely yes. Definitely yes. Definitely yes. And because we know as a hero, it's not limited, or heroism, patriotism, nationalism is not limited to just one person, but it is for each and every one of us. We can be a hero in whatever way. We can be a hero. And hopefully as we commemorate this, hindi lang ma-remember natin, but it would lead us into action, that we will be a hero doing our part as a Filipino people. Because truly, may pag-asa ang ating bayan. The question is still the Filipino worth dying for? Absolutely. Because, and I quote Ninoy Aquino, the Filipino is worth dying for. God bless you guys. I hope nakikita nyo pa ako. Ang dilim-dilim-dilim na. Ayun, ang dami ko pa kasing sinabi. Kala ko maikli lang yung aking material. I hope you learned something. Like this video. Subscribe in this channel. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. So guys, I hope you learned something. John Peter Lo, there's a hero when you look inside your heart. Okay, so parang kanta ba yun? Thank you guys. Comment below the things that you have learned. So kailangan kong lumapit para makita nyo ako. Or baka kailangan kong mag-smile para makita nyo ako. Ayan, nakita nyo ako. Ayan, nakikita nyo ako. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much. Ginabi na tayo. And maraming salamat talaga sa pag-suporta sa Rooftop Reflection. So whatever you have learned, please share it to your friends. God bless you guys.